Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update is next. Coming up, mixed reviews from Americans about President Trump's first 100 days in office.
Former President Barack Obama steps back into the public spotlight.
And the cost of sports, the amount of money it takes to become an elite athlete. We'll have a behind-the-scenes look.
Plus, a preview of the newest Transformers movie. All that and more coming up on Urban Nights Update.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us at Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. Paolo Picardo is joining me. I'm Kurt Stouffer. Here's what we're working on. On Saturday, Donald Trump will have been the President of the United States for 100 days. It's a milestone intended to reflect the effectiveness of a new administration. Throughout his campaign, Trump promised sweeping changes in his 100-day action plan to make America great again. Yet he is now backtracking on its importance in an effort to manage expectations. Regardless, a new poll from ABC News and The Washington Post shows that Trump has the lowest approval rating at the 100-day mark of any president in the modern era. Facing a possible government shutdown and an uphill battle on health care reform, it looks as things might get even more difficult for the Trump administration in the months to come.
The biggest priority this week for the Trump administration is passage of the budget and Mexico border wall. The wall will cost just over $2.5 billion and would take 3.5 years to construct. After promising during the campaign that taxpayers would not have to pay for it, the wall has become an important battleground in the president's budget. He's asking Congress to pass a budget that includes funding for the wall and what he calls a tax reform policy. The money for this year's budget runs out on Friday. If the budget is not approved after a 2-week period, there's a chance the federal government will have to shut down. Dreamers, or unauthorized immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children, face the fear of being deported. That's not what President Donald Trump said in his first campaign. Now, Attorney General Jeff Sessions considers Dreamers the same as anyone else who has entered the country illegally. The Department of Homeland Security says its top priority is deporting immigrants who have committed crimes. Contrary to the statements of Jeff Sessions, Trump says that Dreamers can rest easy without the fear of being deported. Immigration issues and deportation have become big concerns for many people. Earlier, I talked to one of our fellow students here at AAU, Nali, who is from China. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm sitting here with Nali, in a multimedia communications major at the Academy of Art University. Nali, how are you doing today?
Good, and you?
Good. So given the current political and social climate, there's a lot of tension and concerns as far as immigration goes. Na, what type of immigration or citizenship visa are you on currently?
Currently, I'm F1 visa. It's international student visa. It's 5 years F1 visa. Yes.
So, Na, how many years have you been in America, and why don't you, do you ever fear of being sent back to China?
I already stay here 4 years, so I have 1 more year to graduate. So, I'm a little bit worried about if I can come back.
Has there been a time when you've been in the airport or anything where you've been faced with some type of travel ban or extra screening, or do you have a hard time traveling from China to the United States?
No, actually I will stay here until I graduate because I don't want to have some trouble like I can't back to here. So I probably stay here until I graduate.
Okay. So what are your plans after college, and what is an OPT? You told me that you're on an OPT.
The OPT means we have 3 years chance to find a job in here. That means we can stay here. We can have a job in here, but if we didn't have a job in here, we must come back to China. This is only chance I have living here.
Okay. So what do you like about America, and why do you prefer America over China?
You know, America is so freedom. I like freedom, and I like American environment. Relationship, people-people relationship is really good, really nice. And also I like breathe the air in America.
And Nali is actually married currently. Her husband's in China. A personal question, but where do you want your children to grow up and why?
I like my children living here because they have chance like until they 18 years old, they have two choice, like you can get China passport or you can get American passport, two choice. So I think it's better than my children living here.
So given that you've been here for 4 years, do you identify yourself as an American or a Chinese person?
I think Chinese.
Still Chinese?
Yeah, because 4 years is not long.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we got. Thank you for the interview, Nolly.
The Trump administration has cracked down on sanctuary cities, saying they could lose their grant money if they do not work with immigration authorities. Letters have been sent to officials in California and major cities such as New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and New Orleans. Aside from losing grant money, the sanctuaries could also be punished and immigrants living there may be sent back to their countries. California is ready to confront the Trump administration and defend funding threats over their sanctuary cities. State Attorney General Xavier Becerra responded in an interview saying while he respects the enforcement of immigration laws, he is more concerned about public safety. Becerra is certain that California abides by immigration laws and asserts that the U.S. government cannot affect statewide public safety rules.
After having a low profile for quite a while, President Barack Obama made his first public appearance, hosting an event about civic engagement. The event took place on his old stomping grounds at the University of Chicago. The goal was to encourage and support the next generation of leaders. Obama's post-presidency mission is to focus on young leaders by strengthening communities around the country and the world. For decades, UC Berkeley has been considered a place that encourages open political discourse. It is known as the birthplace of this free speech movement. Yet, according to the school colleges, Republicans, and the group Young America's Foundation, Berkeley is strategically silencing conservative speech. This comes after the university's cancellation of an event featuring conservative personality and culture, citing the lack of a secure venue. Cal then reversed its decision, allowing her to speak on May 2nd instead of the original April 27th date. Coulter is refusing to offer this offer and has instead promised to speak on campus this week no matter what. This is the second time this year's controversy has surrounded a conservative speaker at UC Berkeley. In February, a speaking event with alt-right commentator Milo Yiannopoulos was canceled after protests turned violent. The former writer for conservative publication Breitbart News is now promising to return to UC Berkeley. In a Facebook post, he said he will hold a multi-day event in and around the campus called Milo's Free Speech Week. The controversial figure didn't announce when the event would take place, but said to expect it later this year.
Athletics has long been a mainstay of many college campuses, with thousands of student athletes across the country. Although we know the amount of time and energy a student athlete must invest, we often forget the amount of money involved. Urban Knights reporter Bolade Ajamale has the story.
From the outside looking in, Olympic athletes may look like they have it all set for them, but it's not quite as easy as it seems. From a young age, athletes are expected to pay substantial amounts of money just to participate in the sports that they love. Akeem Haynes, Olympic bronze medalist, shares his story.
Growing up, for me, I couldn't really afford spikes, couldn't afford to go to track meets, couldn't afford hotels. So with the grace of genuine people, they helped me achieve where I grew up very poor, so I really couldn't afford too much. So they took a chance on me and actually just allowed me to train, and they would take care of my expenses. So again, going back to what I said before, you gotta sometimes rely on the genuineness of people to help you out. When you're able to have stability in your own expenses, then you can be able to take care of those funds and those mishaps. I'm sponsored by Puma now, so things are a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, you will need some help if you aren't financially able to help yourself.
Although some athletes already have professional contracts, there are athletes like Cheyenne Davis who are still in pursuit of one.
Growing up in BC for track, we had to pay our club fees, our coaching fees, as well as our treatment and therapy. But now, going into the senior levels, you kind of have to you experience a lot more because now you have rent to pay for, you have groceries to cover on top of your coaching, therapy. So I am currently running under Brooks. Now it's more of they give me free gear, so I don't get any financial aids. On top of that, social media plays a really big factor in today's society. So the more followers you have, the more you appeal to the brand. So I've definitely gotten certain endorsements from that, just kind of showing off certain gear or certain product on my Instagram. Definitely helps out.
In Miami, Florida, I'm Baladi Ajamale for Academy of Art University's Urban Night Update.
There are a lot of costs associated with becoming a competitive athlete. Sarah Rosenthal talked with Akil Gibson, one of the coaches on the AAU track team, to find out more.
So the big question we have is it expensive to be an athlete?
Well, it kind of depends on the type of athlete that we recruit or, just the type of school. So here at Academy of Art, there's not the traditional financial aid that you would find at most universities. So say we get an in-state tuition kid that can qualify for the Pell Grant. They also qualify for a Cal Grant. So that would be, $16,000 just about in financial aid. And then, if they get scholarship money, it can vary. Walk-on kids got to pay the whole tuition and housing. Most of the kids that are on the team right now, about 98% of them are on some type of financial aid. So it just depends on the athlete, on the skill level, where the athlete's from. There's a multitude of reasons.
So if somebody is in high school and they want to be noticed at like the collegiate level,
Mm-hmm.
are there more expenses that they have to do?
Depends. There's scouting services, a lot of online scouting services that they can pay for, where those services will contact us, and then we will then contact them to start the recruiting process. For most kids like myself, I didn't pay for anything like that. I actually was recruited at a high school track meet at the state track meet. So the coach came up to me, we talked a little bit, and then I started my recruiting process that way. That's how I like to do most of my recruiting. I go and I try to see the kids. I try to go to their houses. I try to do a lot of different things like that to start the recruiting process so they don't have to pay those things.
Yeah, because a lot of people are expecting there to be
Yeah,
a lot of.
there's all types of ways to get scammed out of money, and a recruiting service shouldn't be one to do that.
Well, thanks for all your insight.
No problem.
That's gonna do it. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Sarah and Coach Gibson. For more on AAU sports, let's join Nali.
Hi, welcome to this week's sport. In our first news, Nicole Persona-Garden, the head coach for the women's tennis team, reiterated her focus on building a strong team with a message on winning. She stated that she had always believed in building a team that is aggressive and always goes for victory. The head coach was flanked by one of her star players, Paula Alcantara, who plays both as a single player and is part of doubles team. Paula had just won her matches 6-3 and 6-1 in her singles matches and 8-6 in the doubles. Paula stated that she knew that the games that they would be difficult and somewhat difficult. But thanks to the instructions given to her by her coach, she was able to emerge victorious in both of her encounters on the field. This shows just how dedicated and disciplined the coach had the players are to winning.
So yeah, going into my singles, it was kind of tough in the beginning because I thought the player was about to play like different. So yeah, I started also a little nervous, but like I really focused on what my game should be against her, and I just felt good, and I tried to do my best and it came out well. So I think all the team is really popped up. With this win, we really came up like even stronger, I guess. It was a tough team, but we are all together.
Another news, the head coach for the Academy of Arts softball team, Sooner Garnet, stated that her team's wins are coming from the offense, which was aggressive and outfair the competition at most time. The Sooner pitchers for the team, Alex Peter, alluded to the presence of good teamwork that contributed the head grant performance. Maria Latham, another Sooner outfielder, also joined the two players the giving her views on what's happening on the field and how they were able to beat the competition.
Yeah, these three seniors have been a big part of our program. They all had really good days today. And you know, senior day is always really emotional and you're sad to see them play their last home game. Luckily, we've got 6 more games to go with them and we're hoping to still send them out on a positive note. It was great to have all the families out here and all the fans. So our pitching kept us in both games today, and our offense is where our wins have been coming from. And I think we kind of got quiet in that second game, offensively and vocally as well. So I think to come out the last 6 games and really leave it all out there, come out as strong as we can at the plate, vocally, and leave on a really good note this year.
That wraps up our sport bulletin for today. We wish both teams success in their future. In the Risers, see you back next time.
More news regarding former Patriot Aaron Hernandez has hit the surface, but this time it's even more jaw-dropping. Check this out. Hernandez, who was found dead hanging in his cell last week, has reportedly left behind 3 suicide notes, one to his daughter, one to his fiancée, and one to his prison boyfriend. Investigators say he left notes next to a Bible before hanging himself. The content of the notes have yet to be released. Steve Kerr is not certain whether he will return to coach the Warriors through the rest of the playoffs. A failed back surgery that he got back in 2015 has been causing spinal leakage, headaches, and nausea. Kerr has had his mindset on sitting out the first round against the Portland Trail Blazers, and rather than trying to coach and deal with the pain, he believes in letting assistant coach Mike Brown run the show in his absence.
For the first time in his career, San Francisco Giants ace Madison Bumgarner is headed to the disabled list. A dirt bike accident on the team's day off in Denver left the pitcher with a sprained shoulder and bruised ribs. He's expected to miss up to 8 weeks with these injuries. While this will obviously not be good for the last place Giants, it could also jeopardize his future with the team. General manager Bobby Evans wouldn't comment if this incident violated Bumgarner's contract or if it would impact future contract negotiations. The legendary connection between 49ers quarterback Joe Montana and wide receiver Dwight Clark will now be memorialized forever. This past Sunday, during a ceremony for Candlestick Point, new street names were announced to honor the 49ers' greatest players. While holding a sign with his name on it, Montana asked if the sign could instead read Montana Clark Drive, in recognition of their close teamwork. Earlier this year, the 60-year-old Dwight Clark announced that he had been diagnosed with ALS.
Stop drinking diet soda. A new study suggests that artificially sweetened drinks such as diet sodas are connected to higher risk of health issues. According to the study, published in the American Heart Association's journal, people who drank at least one artificially sweetened beverage a day had almost 3 times the risk of developing stroke or dementia. Although the research only shows an association, it is better to be safe than sorry. The company Apple is developing wearable devices that can help with people with diabetes track their blood sugar levels without invasive finger sticks. The advantage of glucose monitoring can warn people with diabetes when their blood sugar is rising or falling rapidly. Hypoglycemia can occur when blood sugar falls too low. Hyperglycemia can occur when glucose levels get too high, resulting in a diabetic coma. Managing diabetes is a lucrative market that will impact the lives of diabetic people around the world. Oakland is proposing a new tax on flavored tobacco. The tax is aimed at the flavored tobacco and vape products that come in a variety of flavors like cinnamon toast or blueberry and cotton candy. Oakland officials say that despite the age restrictions, these flavored tobacco products appeal directly to children. That is why they want to ban them altogether. They say that the flavors are eye candy and are deliberately marketed to get kids hooked on a bad habit.
Thanks to the heavy rain during the fall and winter, a bad mosquito season is ahead for all of us. The reason? Standing water in neglected swimming pools for breeding. That also means a greater risk of spreading the Zika and West Nile viruses. In a span of 40 days, a female mosquito can produce 5,000 mosquitoes from 4 generations of offspring. So be sure to have your repellent and long sleeves handy. According to the American Lung Association, the Bay Area ranks in the top 10 most polluted metropolitan areas in the United States. San Joaquin County is the worst in the country for particle pollution. Drought and wildfires contributed to this. The unhealthy levels put Californians at risk for serious health effects like asthma, COPD, and lung cancer. There has been improvement in parts of the state, but overall, there are still too many residents breathing dirty air. Germany has successfully tested a hydrogen-powered zero-emission train called the Hydrail. The train emits nothing but water and is 60% less noisy than a traditional diesel train. Carrying 300 passengers at a time, the Hydrail can travel up to 500 miles per day on a single tank of hydrogen. The first operational trains will debut by the beginning of 2018 and will be a better alternative for the country.
Tesla has issued a voluntary recall on 53,000 of its Model S and Model X vehicles due to faulty brakes. Tesla says the brakes installed on those models built in 2016 could potentially break and prevent the brake from releasing. It also doesn't believe that this particular recall could ever lead to a safety concern. For any of its customers, the company is set to reach out to customers affected by the brakes with information on how to get them replaced. Bose knows what you're listening to. A recent claim by a Bose user accuses the company of spying and selling information. The user shared some personal information through an app which opened the doors for Bose to listen to whatever files are being played through the wireless headset. Bose says the company is not spying, but yet collecting information to make the user experience and their product better. No app, no collected information.
Facebook has launched a new virtual reality network. The company says that the new network will allow users to meet and interact with each other in this virtual space. They are calling it Facebook Spaces, and it will be enable up to 4 people to appear in the same virtual space together, communicate, and play games, all in real time. It will also allow people who don't have access to virtual reality to join in on the fun through Facebook Messenger. New details are emerging regarding the death of Happy Days actress Erin Morgan. According to a statement by the Harrison County Coroner's Office, Morgan likely died from complications of stage 4 cancer. The statement did not say what kind of cancer she had. Morgan died over the weekend. She was 56. And now let's join Shalia Brooks to see what happening this week in entertainment.
Hey guys, I'm here to give you what's hot and what's happening this week in entertainment. Okay, so we're going to start off with what's hot in the box office, because who doesn't love movies? Here are the top 3 movies in the box office this week. Number 3 is the Disney classic that people still haven't gotten enough of, Beauty and the Beast. Number 2 is the animated hit with the oh-so-funny and charming Alec Baldwin in Boss Baby. And at number 1, the number 1 spot for the 3rd week in a row is the 8th movie of the Fast and Furious franchise, Fate of the Furious. Speaking of box office hits, as I said before, summer always has the best movies coming out. And just when you thought you've seen enough of Optimus Prime, he's making another appearance on the big screen with what may be the last Transformers movie. Here's the official trailer of Transformers: The Last Night.
1,000 years we've kept it hidden. To protect Earth from what was destined to arrive.
Optimus Prime, you destroyed your home. Do you seek redemption?
My maker, I do.
Your daughter, what would you say to her?
Brush your teeth, work hard. Stay away from any boy in a band, especially a drummer.
These are troubled times. Without leaders, chaos reigns. 2 worlds colliding. And you're all that stand in its way.
And now the greatest mission of them all, to turn the tide of human history.
Bright, stop! You can't do this!
The imminent destruction of everything we know and love begins.
I'm not leaving you.
When all seems lost, a few brave souls can save everything we've ever known.
The operation is over.
We're not giving up on Prime, okay?
I want to stay, and I want to fight them.
For my world to live, yours must die.
Wow, that looks like that'll be a really intense but awesome movie. Transformers: The Last Night will be in theaters June 23rd. Now to the world of music. Here at AAU, we're not just artists and we're not just athletes either. We're singers, musicians, and even hip-hop artists. Jonathan Boone is a grad student majoring in screenwriting, but outside of school, he also raps at local hip-hop and poetry shows. And for an artist new to the hip-hop game, he has been quite successful telling his story and expressing himself through his music. I got the chance to interview him and learn more on what he's all about. Hey Jonathan, thank you so much for coming to the studio and letting me interview today. How are you?
Great, man. Can't complain.
Today's your birthday, isn't it?
Yep. Unfortunately, I feel old, so.
All right, 24, right?
24.
Happy birthday.
Kobe year.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I want to know, what motivates your music?
What motivates my music is just simply everyday life, everyday struggle, everything that I've been through, my family, my friends, and everything that's going on currently.
Okay. So how successful have you been so far?
Successful, on a scale of 1 to 10, my success, well, I'm kind of hard on myself. I'd just say like maybe like a 6.5.
Okay.
The other people is probably like a 7 or 8, but pretty much 6.5 for me. But I'm pretty hard on myself. So.
I remember you say you have like a really big following on Facebook and stuff
Yeah,
like
super
that.
big following on Facebook. Instagram is like blowing up, so I guess.
That's great. So I want to know about your new freestyle album, Shine. Like, what can people expect from this one?
Oh yeah, so Shine is a single that I released. I released it last Friday. Today I have a single coming out for my birthday called 9317.
All right.
You can purchase it on iTunes. You can stream it on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, all that good old stuff, Tidal, whatever else.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we have like unlimited access to get to your music.
Unlimited access.
That's awesome. So I want to know, what would you say to any upcoming artists? Like, any tips, any advice?
So I get that question a lot. And the thing that comes to mind is just basically do what you want to do, but also have a sense of yourself in it. As long as you stay original and keep, going and don't let nobody talk you out of it, then everything should be fine, man. Seriously, the people are gonna come, the views are gonna come, then the money comes. The money should be the last resort. But if you're doing it for yourself, everything else is gonna fall in place.
Okay, that's really, really wise words. One more question. Why do you call yourself North Carolina's only hope? I know you're from there. So like, why do you feel like you're their only hope?
The only hope thing is not more of being the only hope, but just where I come from is I am the only hope. Statistically speaking, I'm not supposed to be sitting here doing the interview with you right now because I'm from the poorest place in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And the resource thing is super crucial. So a lot of people don't have the resources. So for me, when I do these performances and I'm doing these interviews, they see North Carolina. So at this one point in time, or at this moment right now, North Carolina's only hope. And they can only see North Carolina through me.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming in the studio today, taking some time out for your birthday and talk with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Again, I'm Shalia Brooks with What's Hot in Entertainment. Back to you, pal.
Thanks, Shalea. Before we go, just a gentle reminder for all you out there, Mother's Day is next month. Now that you have this early reminder, this year, planning something special. If you need inspiration, Balade Ajamale has more.
Because Mother's Day is coming up soon, I decided to ask my fellow Canadians what message they have for their mothers.
Okay, so my mom is having surgery tomorrow, so for Mother's Day, I'm gonna say get well soon, get better, happy Mother's Day, and I love you.
For Mother's Day, I'm thanking my mom because without her and without her motivation and without her guidance in life, I would not be here where I am today. Thanks, Mom.
Hey Mom, happy Mother's Day. I miss you. Hope you had a good trip down to Jamaica. See you in about a week.
Yo, mommy, we love you, you know. We love you like cook food. And you brought me up from a young boy, you know, you teach me the ways of the man. So, you know, mommy, me love you. And I want to tell you, say, on Mother's Day, I wish you nothing but, no, I'm just joking, I'm really Canadian. Mom, I love you. And you're just awesome. You rock. So, happy Mother's Day.
I'll tell her that I love her very much, and she's one of my role models, and I'm very grateful, you know, that she's done all these sacrifices throughout her life to make me who I am today. So happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for motivating me. And thank you for always supporting me no matter what you're going through. You always had my back and supported my dreams. So thank you. Love you.
A good reminder to start thinking about Mother's Day. That's it for this edition of Urban Knights Update. I'm Paolo Picardo.
And I'm Kurt Stouffer. For everyone here, thanks for joining us. See you next time.